I was there last week.
If you look at how a democracy functions, and nobody can say that India should not be a democracy, at least nobody will openly say that. So the way a democracy functions is by having accountability of the government. That's the only way a democracy can function, that you have accountability. Now, accountability of the government can be in various ways. One way of making the government accountable is by elections, that the government is elected. Okay? Those rulers are elected. So, election is one way of accountability. Other way of accountability is having institutions after the elections and during the time when the government is running, institutions which will keep certain control, keep the government accountable, transparent, etc., etc. These institutions include the courts, these include the Reserve Bank of India, this includes the CAG, this includes the CBI, this includes various other institutions like Election Commission, etc. And the third way of keeping the government accountable is by civil society and press, media. So these are the three ways in which any government is kept accountable. And if you want to take away democratic rights, what you do is attack at all these three levels. At the level of elections, at the level of institutions which make the government accountable, and at the level of press and civil society. And what we have seen in the past 5 years, that's what we are trying to show here, is that at all three levels, whether it's elections, by changing the electoral laws, in terms of bringing about these election bonds, where you can buy the bonds. I can go and buy 1 crore rupees bonds in the name of a particular political party and give it to them. My name won't be disclosed. Political party will not have to say from where they have got the money, and that money is legal. Similarly, foreign contribution to political parties has been legalized. So this is one way in which you try to and bring money in a big way into elections, officially. So this is one way in which to affect the democratic accountability. The second way of affecting democratic accountability is, as I said, that there are various institutions. So you have Lokayukta. The Lokayukta Act was passed in 2013-14, but no Lokayukta was appointed till very recently. And that too after Supreme Court repeatedly saying that appoint a Lokayukta. Then why was it not appointed? What is the method found by the present government not to appoint Lokayukta, not to appoint various other bodies? They say that in all these appointments, whether it's Lokayukta, whether it's Election Commission, etc., you have a committee which also includes the leader of the opposition in that committee of selection. The constitution doesn't provide, but this particular speaker has somehow come to the conclusion that unless you have 10% seats in parliament, you can't be leader of the opposition. Since apart from BJP, nobody had 10% seats in the last parliament, they came to the conclusion there cannot be a leader of the opposition. Because Congress had 43 seats or 44 seats. So it didn't have 53 or 54 seats which are required. Where this law is there, we don't know, but this is that conclusion. So no leader of the opposition was appointed. So nobody from the opposition, though under the laws they are supposed to be brought in for selection of Lokayukta, Election Commission, CBI, etc., CBI head, etc. They just avoided this, avoided bringing up anybody, any dissenting voice by this clever play of words as far as the constitution is concerned. So this is the second way. Similarly, we all know how CBI, how RBI, how the Planning Commission, which has, of course, has been dismantled, how the National Crime Bureau records, that entire institution has been dismantled. So, various other autonomous organizations have been dismantled in various ways. Their autonomy has been dismantled. And the third thing, as I was telling about civil society and the press, you all know, we need not explain how much the press is under pressure not to publish certain things and to publish certain things. When a leader of the opposition comes out with a sting operation showing corruption after demonetization. It's not, and it's not even telecast. Okay, the television channels are not allowed to even bring that out on as a media story. They are not even allowed to do that, or they don't do it on their own for whatever fear, whatever scare they are under. Similarly, civil society organization, you have FCRA on the one hand amended in order to do away with any kind of control on foreign contribution to political parties. On the other hand, you have the same FCRA being used against civil society organizations to stifle their funding, to arrest people, to cancel the FCRA. So any accountable, what the basic purpose, the way in which they are going about is any structure, any instrument of accountability, of transparency is being dismantled on a daily basis by the present government. Some of it happens through new laws, but not everything happens through new laws. A lot of these things happen by using existing laws, and some of the laws which are brought in by the Congress government itself are quite oppressive, like the UPS, UAPA, and various other laws which are also brought out by the FCRA was also a Congress's gift. Okay, so you have a situation whereby you don't need to always change the laws. You can use the existing laws, which are repressive by their very nature, but now you start using them in a much more repressive manner than they are doing earlier. You start using policies, which you start diluting policies, whether it's a Narega or whether it's any other policy, whether it's a midday meal policy, etc., etc. You start diluting them, and the third way of doing it is by changing some laws. What we are focusing in this report is on changes in the laws brought about in the last 5 years by the present government. As I said, this is not the only way in which the government functions. This is one of the ways, and we are only talking about the central legislations which have been changed, or new laws which have been brought about. I gave you a few examples. I guess others will also speak about a few other examples. But essentially, if you see across the board, there is tightening of, there is mass surveillance now recognized through Aadhaar. You have situation whereby Land Acquisition Act, which is sought to be diluted, the new Land Acquisition Act of 2013, which may not be a great act, but which was a step forward from the 1894 Act. Okay? That itself is being diluted in order to displace people easily. The dilution in environmental laws are phenomenal, and they are being fought out on a daily basis. So you have a situation whereby a large number of laws, whether they pertain to election, whether they pertain to, and the other method which has been sought, which has been introduced by the present government, that's the last thing I want to talk about, is by introducing many of these laws as money bills. Now what happens is that when you say that something is a money bill, you need not pass it through the Rajya Sabha. Now Rajya Sabha, obviously the present government doesn't have control over. Okay? So therefore many bills, right, for instance, appointment of tribunal, for instance, Green Tribunal, they changed that by centralizing now the all authority into central government. An amendment is brought about in the law to centralize everything with the central government, not by amending the National Green Tribunals Act by a normal amendment, but by introducing it in the finance bill. So it passes as a money bill. There is no debate. It doesn't reach Rajya Sabha, and it is passed. So there are a number of laws. Aadhaar was passed as a money bill. Every law has some amount of monetary repercussion, because when you pass a law, you have some machinery to enforce that law. So obviously you are going to spend some money. Now, if every law is treated as a money law, then what's the purpose of Rajya Sabha? Then you are doing away with Rajya Sabha altogether. You are attacking the constitution indirectly by virtually making Rajya Sabha redundant. But this is another thing which we have tried to bring about in this report, and this is what has been happening.